Hi guys, sorry I can't be there today, but I thought it'd be quite interesting just to talk a little bit about the New Zealand flag. You probably saw my email rant, and I think it's quite interesting because it ties into logo design, and it just makes me think about what is a good logo, what is a good design to represent a brand. In this case, the brand is New Zealand, the country, but you know, you want it to be something that you're kind of proud of. So I think it's interesting. This is the current New Zealand flag for those who don't know, for the background. The kind of argument is that it's very similar to the Australian flag, and yeah, I can see that it is. There's a lot of truth to that, and a lot of the colonial flags have the Union Jack on them as well, which people want to remove, or certainly want to have the option to consider a new flag. So what's happened is the New Zealand government have come up with 4 flag designs, which are new choices. And the New Zealand Prime Minister has, in the past, said that his personal preference is for a flag featuring the silver fern, which you may be familiar with if you watch the All Black rugby team. They have a silver fern. So these are the options. And to me, just wait for this to load, these kind of smack of being 4 options that are basically the same thing, and one option that's just so horrible that you'd never vote for it. So it's kind of like a no option in a way. There is, funnily, a kind of a movement to possibly vote for the third one as a protest vote. They call it the hypno flag, this one here. So before those 4 were narrowed down as the options for the new flag to go up against the existing flag, the general public, were able to submit some flag options, and there's a few funny ones. I'll just highlight one of those quickly. This one here, it was submitted by a guy called, I think his name's James Gray, and it's quite funny. Obviously it wasn't a serious submission, but hey, it's memorable. Let me just go back to my email. And then, so basically, amidst all this controversy anyway, there is a flag that's emerged online in an online petition as a kind of favourite, and there's a big online petition, as I said, to get this included in the options as a 5th kind of option to choose from, and it's quite beautiful, I think. I'm not saying it's a brilliant design, but it's very different to the others, and it gives you a different option, and it does certainly obey the conventional rules of flag design. And I'm going to just show you a little video, which I think is the most interesting thing, and it just talks about flag design. And this one here, which is called, I think it's called Red Peak, kind of is meant to be representative of a mountain, and it's interesting, and it's simple, and it's nice colour. Geometric sort of thing, I think. So here's that video, and it just gets you thinking about, what does make a good flag?
What makes a good flag design? In this short video, the New Zealand Designers Institute have outlined 5 principles of design and how they can be applied to flags. These 5 principles are simplicity, colour, the rule of thirds, symmetry and asymmetry, and context. The first is simplicity. Flag design is an exercise in simplicity, the composition of basic elements in a defined field, a reduced colour palette, and no language. The process should be reductive. It's as much about what's not included as what is. A great example is the Japanese flag, a white rectangle with a red circle representing the sun, an important symbol in Japanese culture. The design is also cognizant of its end use, because when it's flying, it puts the sun in the sky and reads the same from either side. The flag of Greenland was redesigned in 1985 and is elegantly simple. It echoes the landscape, showing ice, ocean, and a sun setting below the horizon. Both of these flags take meaningful symbolism to its purest form. The next principle is colour, arguably the most evocative element in design. Colour literally alters how we see the world. For example, on a cultural level, yellow signifies divinity in many religions. On an emotional level, yellow makes us happy. Many European flags develop their colours from historic traditions and upheavals of the last 3 centuries. In the Australian Aboriginal flag, the colours are symbolic, representing the sun, the earth and the people. When combining colours, separate light with dark to create contrast. A flag should also work in grayscale. The most successful national flags use 2 or 3 colours. More than 4 can be hard to distinguish. There are exceptions to this rule. For example, the South African flag uses black, green and yellow of the African National Congress, plus red, white and blue from the Dutch tricolour and the British Union flag. The rule of thirds divides a medium into thirds, creating aesthetic positions for primary elements. The result is 9 equal parts created by pairs of horizontal and vertical lines. Core elements sit on the lines or their intersections to create more tension and energy than simply centering them. It's a useful rule of thumb when you're composing. However, if a strong primary element appears imbalanced, a centered design may work best. The rule of thirds can also apply to mass. Many flags divide space in this way, both vertically and horizontally. Symmetry is the most basic and enduring aspect of beauty, conveying balance, harmony and stability in natural and man-made forms. Simple symmetrical forms create recognition and recall. Most flags use reflective symmetry either vertically, horizontally or both. Asymmetry creates tension and prevents objects from appearing static. It evokes modernism, forcefulness, vitality and movement. The dynamic Seychelles flag, like the Sydney Opera House, is completely asymmetrical. Asymmetry is a common feature on colonial flags that follow the canton pattern, like the Cook Islands flag. Other flags, such as the Nordic cross flags, employ symmetry horizontally and asymmetry vertically. Finally, context. Flags are seen in many different cultural contexts. At sporting events, by the military, on public buildings, with other flags, in ceremonies and online. They are constantly redrawn and reinterpreted. They must be read easily from a distance or when small. They're often seen together, so a flag must look like a flag, not a pictogram. Most flags adhere to one of these patterns, which reflect historic, traditional and religious themes. Suggesting an alternative flag for New Zealand is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Remember, for your design to be considered, it must be uploaded by July 16, 2015. Read the flag design guidelines and suggest your alternative flag design at flag.govt.nz.
So now you've seen the video, I'd love to see your submissions for New Zealand flag on my desk by 9 a.m. Monday. Just maybe it gets you thinking about what makes a good flag. I think the British flag's a great one, for example, and the English flag and the Scottish flag, Pauline. And yeah, I just kind of want the New Zealand flag to be an awesome one too, and it doesn't feel like the kind of diplomatic process we're going through is going to lead to a good flag. Anyway, interesting, food for thought. See ya.